are an example of the tools that we would use to measure humidity. Humidity is measured using a hygrometer, and this here is an analog hygrometer, and this is a digital. And if you look at here, you can see that this just measures pressure here, and this shows you that it measures in percent. So all of these represent a percentage, and wherever this hygrometer is located, it's actually 30% relative humidity. And it also has a small thermometer here. Now, if you look at this is a digital version of this. You have a thermometer here that takes your temperature, but you also have your hygrometer built in. They're both built in digitally. And here, wherever this is located, the relative humidity is actually 60%. And this is an image of fog, which this isn't something that you would see too much in the Bahamas. Rarely we have issues with fog. I mean, it happens some mornings. There have been some mornings where it happens, but it doesn't happen often. I know when I lived in Missouri, it happened a lot. We had a lot of instances where we had fog in the evenings, in the mornings, at night, even sometimes during the day it can happen. And this is an example of dew on a car or grass blades. And if you look at the car, you can see water droplets coming down as the sun rises, and that is as the dew is dripping off the car. And this here is water droplets found on grass blades, and it hasn't rained, so all of this is formed from the fact that the air has reached 100% relative humidity, which is basically how moist the air is. Wind. Well, wind is measured in the direction it's coming from. Usually, if someone is measuring wind, they would be like, the wind is blowing whatever degrees north, or whatever miles per hour north or south. They usually measure from the direction it's coming from. Now, it is also controlled by the pressure of the atmosphere. So wind always blow away from high pressure to low pressure when it comes to the atmosphere. So if there's an area of high pressure, the wind is going to be moving away from it and going towards the low pressure, which is why wind blows in a rotation. So wind movements are usually high pressure clockwise into low pressure anti-clockwise. The strength of the wind is also related to the pressure. The greater the difference between the high and low pressure, the faster air moves between, then creates stronger wind. So as we have the wind moving from the high pressure to the low pressure, the faster the air moves between high pressure and low pressure, the stronger the winds are. So if it's going really, really, really fast between high and low pressure, then we're going to have really, really strong winds. Like today was kind of windy. So there was probably, there was some strong winds today. So there's probably a very fast movement of the wind going from high to low pressure. And hurricanes are low pressure systems. So winds rotate anti-clockwise, and the wind at the centers are always strong. So because wind moves from high pressure to low pressure areas, and with hurricanes being low pressure areas, low pressure systems, the wind tends to rotate anti-clockwise, and the wind at the centers are always strong. And this is a tool, an instrument to measure wind. And I know I've seen a few of these in the Bahamas, but mostly I've seen them, on TVs, on top of houses, and they usually spin, giving you the direction the wind is blowing. And we also have an anemometer, and that also measures wind. And as we go on through the lesson, we'll get more information on tips on how to use the various instruments.